Hey y'all, back at it again with another vlog, and I know it has been a while, but I'm back and that's all that matters. This is vlog number 4 and I got the keys to the Mcat. Yes. Okay, thank you guys again for the support. Thank you guys for still showing me love even though it's been like 2 weeks now, and it's my goal to actually have a video out every week. But it's been test week, y'all. We have a test coming up in 2 days and the pressure is on. I'm sorry, I put a lot of coconut oil on my face, you know, trying to be that, you know, black girl glow, but it's making me sweat. But okay, it's our first test and it's been crazy. But I have another video talking about, you know, life in school so far. I just wanted to drop this video real quick because I've got a lot of questions about the Mcat coming up, or some people are about to take their Mcat, some people are in their junior year preparing to take their Mcat or preparing to start studying for their Mcat, and they were asking me about like how to study Princeton or Kaplan, no tutor at all, self-study, when to take it. Important questions. Mcat is a huge thing. It's not everything, but it is a big portion of med school. Trust me, they look at way more things on your application than your Mcat, but it is a big thing. It's a serious test and it's very important. And I understand that you guys are nervous about how to start studying and how to, you know, just start the whole process. And trust me, I was too. A little bit about my Mcat experience. I took the old Mcat first of all, and I had the choice at the end to take the new Mcat or the old one. And I rushed to take the old one. I was just not here for a longer test. I took the test twice, and the first time, I feel like what really got me down was how long it was, and I don't know, I just don't have, I didn't prepare well the first time at all. I wasn't prepared for how long I was gonna be sitting there in that cold room, in that cold place, looking at a computer screen and all that. So I didn't prepare well for the first time. I went back again. I studied harder. I made sure I was on my stuff more. Like, I dedicated time, put aside time for the Mcat only. I wasn't playing around the second time, and I definitely advise that to you guys. If you guys have to take it more than once, then it's fine. If you have to take it twice, it's okay. Don't worry about that. But when you go into that first time, don't waste money. Take it seriously. Like, put your all into studying that first time around so you don't have to be like me and you don't have to take it twice, and you can be satisfied with your first go round. And I don't think schools look down on you if you take it more than once, as long as you're showing improvement. If your scores are staying the same or going down, in fact, I don't think that's the best thing. Just try to get better every time you take it if you have to take it more than once. But best case scenario, you take it one time, you prepare well that one time, and you knock it out the park. Since I did take the old Mcat, in this video what I did was recruit some of my classmates, some of my friends to help me with this video on how to give y'all advice for the new Mcat and for studying and for just any kind of Mcat test taking, you know, things that they wish they would have done better, things that they would advise, things that they would suggest to you guys, so y'all can get as much help as possible. As always, if you have more questions, I will answer them for you. If you just hit me up in an email, comment, hit me up on IG or something, I will get back to you. I hear everything, I see everything. It might have taken me a while this past week to reply, but that was because it's test week and I'm dead. Okay, I'm stupid. Wow, my knee is so ashy. Like, my face is coconut oil down, but I didn't put any on my legs. So I'm about to go study today, but I wanted to drop this video for y'all today because Mcat is important, but I know you're smart, I know you got it. My friends are gonna give a lot of advice about preparing for the exam. I wanna give advice about when you're taking the exam. Pace yourself, but go fast. Like, you have to prepare yourself so the time doesn't, you know, make you anxious. Also, they have breaks, so bring all the snacks you want. If you drank coffee while you were studying, I would suggest bringing coffee and, you know, a mug or whatever to your test. Put it in your locker so you can, you know, take sips on your breaks. And if you ate snacks while you studied, I would advise you to bring some snacks, put it in your locker so you can have snacks, you know? Take those breaks if you need them. If you don't need them, you feel like you can power through, then power through, but then take the next break, you know? So there's time, they give you time to decompress a little bit, to relax a little bit, to take a break. And I would suggest that you definitely take those. Honestly, I think you guys will be fine if you just put it in. Oh, another thing. I did do Princeton. I did the Princeton Mcat prep course. It's expensive. Honestly, if you can't afford it, you're not missing too much. There's so many resources out here. Other than Princeton and Kaplan, which cost an arm and a leg, you can get a personal tutor. My med school has students that are willing to tutor undergrads. If you want to hook up for that, just hit me up and I'll find you something. But there are tutors everywhere that can help you with your MCAT for a cheaper price. And there's always self-study. There's always so many books on eBay, so many books on these websites. You can get the same books that they use for Princeton and Kaplan. You can get that mailed to your home, and you can, you know, make your own schedule and stick to it and study by yourself if you feel like you can do that and if that's what's best for you right now. So if you can't do the Princeton and Kaplan thing, don't feel worried. Nobody has an advantage over you. I would say the most that I got out of it was probably test taking strategies, but then again, they have millions of YouTube videos for that. Millions of tutors to tell you the same thing on, you know, strategies on how to take the test, how to, you know, eliminate this answer choice and do this, do that, spend this time here, blah, blah, blah. Don't feel bad if you can't take Princeton or Kaplan. You're going to be fine, trust me. Okay, like I said, if any of your questions doesn't get answers, or you have a further question about something that is said on this video about the MCAT, then you go ahead and email me. You know, go ahead and hit me up and I will reply, I will respond. Thank you guys for everything so far. So I'm gonna stop talking now and I am going to allow my classmates, my friends, to give their advice on the MCAT. And I hope it helps you guys. If it doesn't, like I said, hit me up.
So if I had to give people 2 pieces of advice about the MCAT, first I would start way earlier than you think you need to, just so you don't feel really stressed out right before the exam and feel like you have to cram everything into like 2 weeks. And the other thing I would say is that practice tests are super valuable. I know this can be really expensive to buy, but actually practicing taking the test on the computer in test-like conditions with the time constraints, I think is really helpful because the MCAT's not all about knowledge. Like a lot of it is actually about like test taking skills. So I think those are really useful.
And my best advice would be to pay attention in your classes before you even start studying for the MCAT. A lot of that knowledge all comes from class, and it's easiest if you don't have to relearn it all for the MCAT. And then also you don't have to pay for expensive test prep courses. They're helpful for a lot of people, but you can also do just fine if you're really diligent about studying on your own.
So the first thing that I would recommend is that you go to pubmed.com. That's PUBMED.com. And it's pretty much a database for research articles on various science disciplines. And I suggest it because there's a lot of complex and convoluted passages and research articles that you can look at. And if you get used to understanding that material, or at least kind of getting an idea of what they're talking about, then once you get to the new MCAT, those passages won't scare you quite as much. Know your biochemistry. Biochemistry is very important for the new MCAT. That's something that I, having taken the old MCAT, found a little bit surprising when taking the new MCAT, because they've reduced the amount of physics and increased the amount of biochemistry. So now you have it on the biology section and the physical sciences section. So know your biochemistry, know your amino acids code. I cannot stress that enough. Know how they function and how they interact with each other in terms of enzymatic processes and hydrophobic interactions and this, that, and the other. But definitely know your biochemistry. Like, I can't stress that enough.
I'm going to say it anyway. My name is Ramsey Miku. I'm a first-year student at the Montgomery Medical School in Houston. The MCAT was hard. It really was. But I would say tips that really helped me. First time I took it, I did not do so well. So the biggest thing I had to do to get better at the MCAT was really studying my weak points. I feel like if you have to take it again and you study all the material all over again, it's going to take you forever. The biggest advice I have to give is study your weak points. For me, it was verbal reasoning. So I made sure every day that I took out an hour or two every day to read verbal reasoning passages. Always simulate testing conditions. If you don't, you're not going to be ready on testing day. So study your weak points. Always simulate testing conditions. And I would say, if the day before the test comes, do not study. Play basketball, go music, go to the lake, whatever y'all do that. I feel like the day before the test, you need to prepare your mind to take almost a 7-hour test now.
I always tell my friends that when they start studying that they should always take a diagnostic test. And again, it's very tempting to say, oh, hey, you know, let me study, and then I'll take it. But again, it's very important to know your weaknesses and where you need to focus most of your time on. And make sure that you do regular testing. I always think of the MCAT as a sort of marathon, right? And so you don't want to just go in and without any practice whatsoever. Always try to simulate regular testing, do like the full practice test as many times as possible, and always work as many questions as possible. Studying is one thing, but actually practicing it and utilizing the concepts is invaluable.
So my advice would be for whenever you're studying and you're feeling down or overwhelmed, take a break, treat yourself. It's not the end of the world if you're not studying for the MCAT every single second. And then also one thing that I would do if I could do the MCAT studying all over again would be to start early, not get behind, stay on top of your assignments, because when you're cramming at the end, it's not worth it.
Hi, my name is Biochemistry. I'm an MS1 at McGovern Medical School with Crystal here. My advice is to take practice tests. And I think that this is very important because the MCAT is 8 hours long, right? So half of this test is endurance, just because it is so long, and being able to say, oh my gosh, like I can make it to the psych-so section and still do well on it, right? Okay, so take the test in the conditions in which you take the test on a real day. Because if you practice taking the test, like at 8 o'clock in the morning, you know, with your cell phone turned off and under all the normal test conditions, when it comes test day, bam, it's muscle memory. You've done this a lot of times, and so it kind of helps with those jitters as far as the actual test itself is concerned. And also, taking practice tests is important because if you just read all the information, you're not necessarily applying it the way that you would on the MCAT. So I think that that's very important too, because a lot of times you can read concepts, but until you actually like integrate them and apply them and actually do practice problems, you don't know how well you know the material. So practice is very important.